Well, and we're going to have a look right now at the papers this morning, and if not all of them focusing on the upcoming roadmap. The other way around, I get in trouble for interrupting school.
Do you?
Yeah. On a Zoom.
Really? Stop bothering me.
Yeah, exactly. Should we have a quick look at some of the insides? This is a rather lovely story. It makes it into lots of the papers, actually. This is a garden. It looks like a jungle. Look at it there. You can see it looks absolutely lovely. But actually, weather that perhaps they might not be accustomed to.
It's very impressive. Looks like a lovely place to
lovely.
to chill out. I draw your attention to this there's a little picture here. Can you get in on this picture here? So there is a sale going on.
Mine was round.
Yeah, circular. That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Quite stylish.
Love that telly.
And I'm assuming I was looking around here carefully because the early big TVs. People remember used to have shutters on them, and there were, proper cabinets and everything.
Yeah.
And so I'm always intrigued. If you're watching us this morning
on a round telly,
on one of the thing is though,
I bet, do you think it still work? It wouldn't work anymore, would it?
Oh yes.
Would it?
The one that I had, one of those round portable ones, a black and white one, and it never stopped working.
Remember, it had little dials on the top where you would tune it in and turn on.
And if they weren't working properly,
obviously.
Whack on the top, which when I came to work at the BBC, told me actually there was a reason why people did that. It wasn't just frustration.
Technically, it did actually make a difference.
Oh, really? Somebody told me that once, so that counts.
If you're watching us on a round telly, very special good morning. I don't think they'll still work, but maybe they will.
Let's see, it's 6:21 right now. Boris Johnson will announce when schools in England can reopen later, with March the 8th expected to be the date suggested.
There is likely to be some flexibility around that date, but it's thought all students will go back at once, unlike in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, which have chosen phased returns. Here's our education correspondent, Dan Johnson. Trained in this, Carlos, but, I'll play you something, no worries.
Why not?
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. If you want to watch the video, trained in this, Carlos, but, I'll play you something, no worries.
Why not?
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. If you want to watch the video in full, it is available on the Birmingham Royal Ballet's website.
That's it from us on Breakfast. We're back at 6 a.m. tomorrow.
Right now, it's time for Morning Live with Kim and Gethin.
Sounds good, that, Kim.
So, 7 weeks after England entered its latest lockdown, today we will begin to find out how and when life will start to return to normal.
What we know is the easing of restrictions will happen in 4 phases, starting with the full reopening of schools from March the 8th.
We're joined now by the fact that we're absolutely clear on the detail. So with regard to schools in England, that's all schools to all pupils?
Correct. That is
a Downing Street briefing at about 7 o'clock. More details then.
Let's get the sport now. 7:48. What have we got, Sal?
Well, we're actually starting with the Premier League, but isn't that fantastic that we can look forward to a future where outdoor team sport and sport is coming back? I know a lot of people will be relieved to hear that. Now, talking about Manchester City, can anyone stop?
Oh, Carol, thank you very much.
We might be speaking to a couple of people who are watching the weather forecast fairly carefully at the moment, Carol. All will be explained.
It will. Is it a good day for a swim? If you think you've been cold while exercising outside this winter, imagine taking a daily dip in the icy waters of central Lanarkshire. 2 women in Kenworth have been taking the plunge every day in February to raise money for a local playgroup.
So this is Lynn Steer and Patricia West, who have now raised more than £5,000, even given themes to their swims. We'll be talking to them both in just a moment. Let's see them do what they do.
A national memorial service has been held in New Zealand to mark 10 years since an earthquake in the city of Christchurch.
185 people lost their lives in the quake, which had a magnitude of 6.2. Our correspondent Phil Mercer has this report.
Her thoughts about friendships are echoed by many people watching this morning.
Yeah, and I do. Is it too early to? I think special circumstances.
Happy birthday.
I think so.
Go on then.
I think it's allowed. Happy birthday, May. Ahead of your 111th birthday, and like a lot of other people, she was saying that before what we've been hearing this morning about changes that lie just a short time ahead, and a lot of those involve how many people you will be able to meet up with in the near future. So we'll have a lot more detail on that for you throughout the morning this morning.
Detail as well right now on the weather. It's a little bit milder, isn't it, Carol? Morning.
Yes, it is. Good morning, everybody. Louise.
We like to see that, Carol. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So 11 minutes past 8, Boris Johnson will announce later today that all schools in England can reopen to all pupils from March the 8th.
If we have a look at the situation in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, it's all a little different depending on where you are in the UK. Some of the schools in Wales and Scotland for younger pupils will be opening this morning. Let's speak to our education correspondent, Dan Johnson, who's at a school in East London for us. Dan, so we have had the confirmation from a government minister this morning that March 8th the date. All schools to all pupils. Of course, schools have been open to key workers to some degree, but this is a big change and it's just around the corner. About some of the practicalities of getting the kids in. Thank you very much for that. Yes, no return for English students just yet, we know, March the 8th. But in Wales, children aged 3 to 7 will begin going back to school in a phased way, and that is happening today.
Yeah, and some vocational pupils on courses that require practical learning will also be going back. Our Wales correspondent, Thomas Morgan, is at a school in Penarth, and he can take us through what's going on there. Morning.
Nina, there'll be so many people hoping for some kind of news from the Prime Minister as he speaks later on. More like a distant memory. How ready are we to get back to normal? Breakfast, Graham Satchell.
Much indeed, as ever, for your time here on BBC Breakfast. We will speak to you again. Thank you.
Let's see, time now is 8:48. Let's have a look at the weather, Carol. How's things looking today? How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Charlie. And the weather is looking fairly settled for most of us as well.
So, Billy Munger likes a challenge. After becoming a double amputee following a horrific racing crash in 2017, he returned to motorsport a year later and went on to finish third in his first solo competitive race back. He was still just 18.
And now he's taking on his biggest task outside of a racing car. He's aiming to walk, cycle and kayak 140 miles in just 4 days. It's all for comic relief. Breakfast, Tim Muffet. Let's be having a look. It's seen urgently.
You are watching Breakfast, and it's time to have a last brief look at the headlines wherever you are this morning.
Urgently.
You are watching Breakfast, and it's time to have a last brief look at the headlines wherever you are this morning. Welcome back. Now, when Carlos Acosta, considered to be one of the great dancers of all time, was appointed director of Birmingham's Royal Ballet in January last year, the future was looking bright, well, quite different and pretty bright for the industry.
Yes, what happened, of course, is within weeks, venues were closed, productions were halted. Now his company has launched a short film, Empty Stage, to highlight the plight of those